scooch back just a little bit.
Okay, we're live. All right, guys. Welcome to Friday Nights with Jake. Today is a special edition of the show because I am here with Mariah.
Hey, everybody.
Our survivor from Operation Survival Season 2, Antifa's Revenge. And so what I want to do today is I want to talk with our viewers about Operation Survival, what questions you might have, what you might not have picked up from the first episode, and maybe we'll give a couple teasers for the second episode. So,
Got a couple people watching.
what's up, Mr. Nava? Glad to have you as always. Real quick, tonight's fire was brought to you by the Essie Homeless. Now, this is actually not my knife. A good friend of mine is allowing me to borrow this old girl, and I started this fire much later than I normally do, and thank the Lord, everything went incredibly smoothly. Batoned a ton of wood in a hurry using the old classic baton here. So, yeah, thank goodness that went well because I lost track of time. So, Operation Survival Season 1, you saw Zach and myself, and we were kind of doing a legit survival scenario. It was very... looking back on it, was really nice, but there were certainly times and things about it that were very uncomfortable, purposefully. Season 2 is a little bit different, and we have more active bad guy components in the series. If you don't know, Junkyard Fox, his Survival, and Irish Zombie Nation are also doing Operation Survival Season 2. And Irish Zombie Survival... Yeah. Irish Zombie Survival, his video is already up. His episode 1, it has been for a while. And what I'm going to do is once this video has been published, we're going to put the link to that in the description box below. And we'll probably update it with his Survival and Junkyard Fox as well. I don't believe their videos are up yet. So, Joe77H, I'm glad that you enjoyed them. This year, I'm going to be focusing a lot more on doing actual survival and camping videos and a lot less on product reviews. And actually, right now, I'm liquidating like over half of my knives. And I'm going to use that money to buy a mountain bike. So.
No, we've already talked about this. No mountain bike. It's not happening.
What's up, Cyclist? Cyclist, I've never asked you what kind of bikes do you ride, because I'm about to buy a mountain bike. Just by the way. So, okay. On with the show. I'm going to stock a little bit of fire. So I'll ask the first question about Operation Survival Season 2. Mariah, what was your least favorite part of the first episode of Operation Survival?
That's a pretty easy one, I think.
Yeah?
As it started to get darker, we were trying to get that fire made. The headlamp that I have, it isn't really bright. So it was kind of a struggle to get that thing going, and as it got darker and darker, it was harder and harder to see. So that was my least favorite, was basically when it got dark.
The actual stress. Not simulated, but actual stress in a situation when you're trying to accomplish a task is a very important part of any training, because doing any task without the stress is completely different than doing it with stress, and you need to build up to that. I'm going to put some more wood on here.
And then we've got some questions on here.
All right.
Well, I think they're for you, though.
Okay.
So, Here, I'll
Put some
just
big
like,
old. You gotta read them for me, girl.
well, I'll just let you look at them. I don't know.
All right. I wasn't, Rick, I didn't know that Junkyard Fox wasn't doing them. Maybe I missed something with that. 308 or 556 Recon Scout, anybody had one. If you are, I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to. If you're referring to the DPMS G2 Recon, then yes, I have one. John Smith Jr., I'm glad to have you. I hope that you're enjoying. Have you seen Operation Survival yet? Let's see. Comfort bike with suspension in upright riding position. All right, like a street bike cyclist? Is that what you ride? My background. Spetsnaz, Marsoc, Ninja, no. I was Army, Airborne Infantry with the 173rd Airborne, deployed to Logar Province, Afghanistan in 2009 and 10, and then went to the 101st. I was deployed to Afghanistan. It was, I believe, 5 months after I graduated high school, so I basically went from high school to basic training to airborne school to Germany and then to Afghanistan, pretty much just like that. So let's see here. Yeah, and so since my time in the military, I've realized that all of my training in the military was, or 90% of it was garbage, and so I've started my private training at Tactical Response and survival training, starting out doing more stuff with Justin Vidito of Rock Castle Shooting Center. They've got an awesome survival program going on. So I've been doing stuff with them besides my own stuff. I've taken quite a few classes from other guys, and I'll hopefully be going to the Randall's Adventure Training down in Alabama pretty soon as well. Giant Cypress, cool. Giant, I guess, makes really good bikes. I just, my whole life I've always seen them and they've been out of my price range. John Smith, I'm down here in South Central Kentucky. Down in, well, I blocked the heat because you were burning up. And also because this is also blocking sparks.
No, I'm cold.
Oh no. But yeah, we're in kind of a weird part of Kentucky, but it's nice and I like it. Lots of cliffs and lots of pine trees, which is weird for the area, and I love it. So, you know, it's interesting. Our Operation Survival is Antifa's revenge, and I got some comments about Antifa on there, but we haven't showed you guys how we're bringing Antifa into this. So what we did is episode 2 starts out with Mariah.
Are you going to give away spoilers?
No, just teasers.
Okay.
So Mariah starts out episode 1 with describing what's happening to her, and then you get monologue from what she's going through as she escapes the situation. Episode 2, what we're going to do is we are going to actually explain how the fall happened, and that's how you'll see Antifa tied in, and it's a scenario that I believe is realistic, and it should be, I think, valuable for our viewers. Mm-hmm. So I think it's pretty, I guess, complex for a survival YouTube cinematic video series, but let's see here. All right. Oh, John Smith. I actually head up to Fort Knox. I have been fairly recently, lately. We're down kind of in the Bowling Green area, but my dad was doing training up there and we get to hang out with him, so that was really cool. So, yeah, episode 2, we'll talk about how the fall occurred, and then Mariah will go into what she needs to do, and then you'll see the process of her getting to that point. And then I think what we're going to do, Operation Survival is about a single person. So then I think what we're going to do is we're going to finish off the story outside of Operation Survival. And you'll see, I guess, more about that as it comes. But we've got some pretty big plans for it, and I'm very excited about it. Gary, I didn't realize that. That's pretty cool, man. Fort Knox is a place with weather very different than what you're used to, I would say. So that's neat. So I'll just answer questions about Operation Survival as they come. Mariah, what was your favorite part about Operation Survival?
My favorite part. I gotta think about that for a second.
She had fun with it.
Yeah,
Don't let her lie to you.
Yeah, no, I did have fun with it. That's why I'm having a hard time deciding. I guess it was fun, just kind of like getting into character. I've never really done anything like Operation Survival before, so this was all kind of new for me, but there wasn't really one thing that I liked over the other. I think just as a whole it was the acting side of it. That was pretty fun.
She's always wanted to be an actor.
Actress.
Yeah. So, and you don't like the cold very much, and we had snow everywhere. What was that like for you, trying to be somebody else in a scenario while you were actually, could be cold, you know?
Well, I definitely had some layers on, but yeah, certain stuff that I was doing, I had to take my gloves off. Basically, my hands is what got cold, and then my feet started to at the very end after spending a couple hours outside. But I actually liked having the snow because it made everything just so pretty. So I was able to stay warm, pretty warm, I guess.
Yeah, it was. Hopefully we'll get more snow next year. It is kind of a bummer that I didn't film the difference in weather between the snow and as we transitioned into the current temperature, which today got up to like 60 degrees. It's kind of just depressing, but
well, we didn't really get a chance to do that because I have been really busy with my work, so.
And Mariah's a photographer, and so what she's doing is she's going to get started doing a bit of her own photography as well.
Yeah.
Currently she works for another company doing photography for newborn babies. Let's see.
Very professional. So do you think Hollywood's going to call me pretty soon? No, I'm just kidding. It was a lot of fun.
Now I think as we go further into episodes with this, hopefully we'll be able to incorporate our dog a little bit there. Yeah, physical fitness is something that a lot of people overlook. Part of the reason I'm getting a mountain bike, by the way. Need to keep my heart and lungs in shape. But a lot of people get one or two aspects of being a well-rounded warrior, which survival, that's what that is a fight. It might be against you in nature, but it's a fight. And so some people focus on a very narrow skill set, whatever that might be. And some people just try and buy a bunch of stuff but never go use it and end up usually buying, even if it's expensive, less than desirable stuff. And some people, you know, are just couch potatoes and never actually do anything. They might have a bookcase full of bushcraft books that have never been opened. I mean, there's a whole plethora of things that need to be considered for survival, and I don't have all of them, and probably nobody does, but physical fitness is way up there because you can know everything on the planet, but if you've got to get from A to B in a set amount of time and you can't do it, that's it. That's weird there. You can't do it sideways like that.
Yeah, you can. Pops up.
Oh yeah, tending to the fire is the best part of it. I hope there's a good snowstorm. That would be great. Yeah, Gary mentioned that he doesn't know that today 99% of the people have a balanced anything for survival. The reality is 1% of our population's in the military. I believe 1% of that body of people actually fights. So you're looking at 1 in 1,000 people are actually combat soldiers in America, and then probably half of them are turds. So the statistic for people that even have even slightly martial lifestyle is incredibly low. When you talk about actual survival knowledge as an actual well-rounded survivalist, I would say it'd be 1 in a million, literally. I'm not there. I wish I was, but yeah, that's a 1 in a million statistic for sure, maybe less.
Joseph Holman, I think, he said expensive gear don't do no good if you don't know how to use it.
At Tactical Response, the motto is, oh man, I'll be in trouble if I get wrong, but mindset, tactics, and gear. I missed one in there. But the first thing that you have to have in a survival situation or a fight is the mindset to survive. The second, the tactics, the knowledge. You've got to know what to do and how to do it.
Right.
And the gear comes last. Now, people choose crap gear because they don't have the mind, typically because they don't have the mindset, come on, the mindset or the tactics or the knowledge.
Right.
They have a desire to do something, but they don't actually have any desire to really commit to it. So,
right.
You know, so like I do every week with this show, I kind of figure out where the wind is and position us accordingly, and every time it changes for the show to be directly on us. I don't know why.
Well, and I'll add a little something to what he was saying as far as your gear goes. Obviously, you don't want to have a bunch of Chinese junk that's going to fail you. But really, the only way to know how your stuff works is to test it and training. I'm not the type of person that's like, ooh, let's go out into the woods. Jake wishes I was like that, but I'm just not. But I really enjoyed all of the classes that I've gone to. I think that really helps for me because either I go with Jake or Jake takes my sisters and I, and you know, we learn how to build traps, and we've done all the medical training that I've done, and there's a lot of stuff that I've learned. And I think for me personally, going to classes helps me kind of get motivated to learn it. And then once I'm in the class, then you know, I'm like, oh well, that was actually fun. Might be a good idea for some of you guys who want to get your girls involved.
So Gary said that survival is lost on people because people haven't had to survive, and that's completely true. Respecting your elders used to be common sense because if someone was old, whether they actually had to survive or not, they learned a lot of things. Even if they're just a farmer living on the farm, they've been through droughts, they've been through wet seasons, they've been through decades of variation in weather, and seeing how it affects plants, whatever the case may be. They're alive and they've learned a lot. Today, being old doesn't mean crap. You could be 70 years old working minimum wage at McDonald's, and you've been working there for the last 50 years because all you need to do is get enough money to buy some freaking crack and live in your parents' basement still. It's literally, it means nothing anymore, and it's kind of sad, especially when people try to use their age to act like they know something. Who cares how old you are? What have you actually done? Oh, you haven't been to any other countries, haven't done anything outdoors, haven't been to combat, haven't gotten a degree. Like, what? Why are you talking about how old you are? You haven't done anything to be proud of. So being alive in a society where everybody lives means nothing. JD, good to have you. AG Survival, good to have you, bud. Thanks for being here. Yeah, and the other thing, I like to do skills videos a little bit, but I like doing camping and survival videos more, not because I want people to learn from me necessarily, but because I want to motivate people and show you that you can have fun. And so a lot of people want to get out into the woods, but when it comes down to it, they always have 100 excuses and they can't go do anything, and because on the inside they're actually a little bit insecure about getting out and being uncomfortable and all that other stuff, and they'd actually just rather stay in and eat and stuff. So if they can watch my channel, have fun watching my channel, seeing me do these things, and then get motivated to get outside, I've accomplished way more than a survival technique video, because all of that information's already out there. You just have to want to get out there and find it. Arkansas Bushcraft, good to have you, bud. Yeah, Gary, if we could get Mariah way up there to the Arctic Circle with you, that would be excellent. I'm sure that both of us could learn an incredible amount up there. That would be really, really cool. And as you know, I do want to get up there as soon as possible. So we need to get Mariah her passport, and now we have a fuel-efficient vehicle, and we can make that happen. I hate the idea of driving a long distance without firearms, but I also equally hate the idea of going through the checkpoint and ruining my life with a gun, so that's not going to happen. Ooh. So, yes sir, August 2021. What? Yeah, Gary's coat system. So, Gary and our friend Norm are working on an anorak, for anybody watching who doesn't know, and instead of just a wool anorak, they've got fleece, then wool, then waxed canvas. So you have a layering system. You can wear any one of the layers that might be needed at any time, depending on the season, or you can wear all of them when it's really cold. And it's really an exciting set of kit. So for everybody who watched Operation Survival Season 2, Episode 1, go ahead and let us know what you think in the comments section below, what you like, what you didn't like, and then also if you have any questions. So while I'm waiting for that, in my last video, I said that Council Tool, Essie, and the Hidden Woodsman were revolutionizing and taking over the bushcraft industry this year. The Hidden Woodsman has a new survival kit pouch, bushcraft chair, a bunch of other stuff that I'm sure you guys will see, and I think he's got some more planned. Essie just came out with a bunch of new knives. They're revamping not only knives that they already have, but they're revamping their entire brand image, really. And then Council Tool, as you guys might have seen, have just released their Camp Carver axes, hardened pole, 25-degree flat grind on the edge, a bunch of other stuff, and I think that they've got even more to release this year, and I think SE does too. So it's a very exciting time to be in the genre that we're in, because people are just doing good things. So I think that people are going to be excited about that. AG Survival, I absolutely understand. One thing that is hard for people to realize about me, myself, is I don't watch any YouTube. So people assume that I do, and I understand why. And they're like, oh, have you seen XYZ video channel, whatever? No, dude. I don't watch anybody's anything ever. Like, I watch Roadkill. That's about it on YouTube. And I listen to music, and I look for new music. So I totally understand, you know, if people can't watch, I totally understand not only the lack of time, but also the lack of desire. An SE Necker, that has actually happened. They've had a few that could be Neckers in the past, but they've come out with Gibson's Pinch, and I believe that's going to fit in an Altoids tin. I am beyond excited about that, and it is almost exactly like some knife designs that I've been working on, which kind of sucks because whenever I work on something that I feel like is kind of different in my own, since I don't have the capital to make it happen right away, someone always beats me to the punch. Not right now, but we could do that. Okay, AG Survival, how does Council compare to Gransford Brook? Council does, I think, a few things considerably better than Gransford Brook. Especially with their Woodcraft line of axes. They have a thinner zero flat grind, okay, which is weaker than the thicker convex grind of a Gransford Brook. With that convex grind on the Gransford Brook, though, and the hardness, if you hit a rock or something, it's not unlikely for you to chip your edge. The thinner grind that Council Tool is using carves a lot better, is a lot finer, bites deeper, but they're using 5160 steel at about 54 on the Rockwell scale. It's super tough, and if you do hit a frozen knot or something, in my experience, they have only bent, never broken. So I take my sandpaper with a drywall pad and I roosterize the edge, and it's like the damage was never there. That's only happened twice. And so I get that axe right back to shaving sharp in 5 to 10 minutes. The first time was frozen pine hitting some of those knots. People used to warm their axes because you hit stuff like that and you chip your edge. The Council Tool is tough, no breaking, you know, quickly hitting them. I'm right back into the game, and I am 1,000% sold on that. And the Council Tool axes look great, in my opinion. The heads look great, but one thing that separates them from really the entire premium axe market as a whole is they have hardened poles. So the hammer side of it's actually hardened, so it's not going to mushroom out and get all delaminated and nasty and stuff from pounding on stuff. And it's a win, win, win with their head weight, their handle length, their quality, their fit and finish. I am absolutely a fan. I like Gransford Brooks. I cannot see myself choosing a Gransford Brooks over a comparable Council Tool, especially the Woodcraft line. I freaking love the Woodcraft line of axes. Uh-oh.
That'll get us to where we're going.
She's getting sidetracked. What are you talking about, getting to where we're going?
Right here.
Oh, no, you can't get sidetracked. You gotta pay attention. Joe77. I don't have first-hand experience with Strider knives. As I understand it, they're most famous for their flippers, their pocket knives. I'm sure they're of high quality. pocket knives are nowhere within my realm of first-hand experience, and if they do make fixed blades, they're not likely what I would be choosing for being in the bush. With that being said, I'm sure that their quality is absolutely top-notch. Yeah, the Husqvarna Camp Hatchet, I've heard it's a great bang for the buck and a great value. But like you said, a lot of people do reprofile them to be a bit thinner. And what, especially with your more budget options, what they'll tend to do is they'll tend to have a thicker edge, because if they have any issues with heat treat or anything else, you're not going to get damage with a thick, really tough edge. The problem is it's just not going to cut as well. It's not going to carve as well. It'll probably split fine, but a lot of us, splitting's a very small part of what I do with an axe. And for my fires and stuff, completely honestly, I would rather use a knife and a baton. So having a thick geometry for splitting in a pack axe or bushcraft axe does nothing for me. So yeah, you wouldn't be disappointed with the Gränsford Brooks. It's going to be thinner than your Husqvarna, but I think that the Council tool's the way to go. And depending on the weight coming in April, you're going to have a choice between about a 1.5 pound head with the Camp Carver and a 2 pound head with the pack axe. And as of right now, my favorite all-time axe is that pack axe with a 24-inch handle. It's just the perfect combination, the perfect balance. It's great. From Puerto Rico, good to have you, bud. That's cool. Yeah, the Striders are absolutely expensive. When you get into the expensive knife market, things get weird, because what makes a knife expensive is different for everybody. And I think that Striders as pocket knives are absolutely users, but you have a lot of knives with solid reputations in the industry that really aren't good users in the woods. Bad geometry, weird scales, blocky, sharp, pointy, hot spots, whatever the case may be, and they might look really cool. Typically they're tactical to some degree, but you get out there in the bush and they're not a pleasure to learn. I learned that the hard way in Afghanistan, and it actually changed the way that I looked at knives, because it was so bad in Afghanistan. And then long story short, I got an axe that wasn't very good, and it completely changed the way I looked at axes. And I went back and forth for a while until I actually found quality tools, and I was like, is this how this was always supposed to work? And so that started with Becker, and then for a long time I've been working on some of my own knives, some of my own projects, some of my own companies and failings and whatever. And now I'm like on the Essie train, big time. So, I mean, there you go. Now hopefully I still have a bunch of irons in the fire for my own projects, and hopefully I'll be able to get that off the line. Yeah, I'm Strider, Zero Tolerance, Emerson's, JD. CRKT, I think, are fine users. For an American-made quality knife, I think right now, for a pocket knife, Kershaw is just about impossible to beat. They're very nice. Bergen-style packs. I don't know anything about the Bergen-style packs, AG Survival. I actually don't know anything about the Carrymore either, Predator. Snug Pack, I think, is quality. They do outsource their stuff, but I haven't had any bad experiences with Snug Pack. I think they stand behind their stuff. I think that they're good stuff. So, depending on what you specifically are looking for, you know, they might be a good option. If I'm going cheap, I'm going military surplus, period. End of story. And if I'm going a little bit nicer, it's going to be the Hidden Woodsman or Tactical Tailor or Gray Ghost, but typically the Hidden Woodsman. And I think if I've got a bigger pack that's an Osprey, and I do like it quite a bit. Come on, man. Oh, cyclist, do I prefer SE Steel over Crovan? So, I haven't destroyed Crovan yet, so a BK9 survival destruction test will be coming, and that will say a lot about whether I prefer the SE or the Becker Steel. But from what I know right now, the SE 1095 is dang near indestructible with their differential heat treat. It takes an incredible edge easily and holds it for a long time. What I know of the 1095 Crovan or 170-6C Sheridan is that it takes a great edge, it holds it for a long time, it's easy to sharpen. So until I know what they destroy like, it's really hard for me to say, but I didn't think I'd be so impressed with SE's 1095 at all. Oh, the Super Kook. We have I need to get some videos and some pictures up here. We have one Super Kook, I believe, left for auction right now. And tickets are $10 a piece or 3 for $25. And that will be ending on the 31st. If you would like to get some tickets, either talk to Gary on there, because it's kind of his project, or comment below once this video goes up and we'll get that sorted. But a winner for that will be chosen on the 31st, and there's not a lot of people entered. So if you're wanting to get the current edition Nepalese Super Kook, it is not going to be difficult to do. Your chances are really good of winning a Super Kook for about 25 bucks. Outside of that, I am working on some American manufacture, first on the Gunslinger, and then the Super Kook will come after that, and it will be a little while, and it will definitely be an uphill battle. AG Survival, before I get out of here, the Super Kook is probably right now my flagship design. I think that the Gunfighter will be at least equal to it, if not surpass it, but it's a knife project that I worked on for about 2 years, did about 10 prototypes on it. Was originally going to have it done in Nepal, and went back, it went forth. I've kind of co-owned a couple knife companies and had pretty bad luck with it. So the Super Kook is my design. You can, if you want to see it, you can look up some videos or look it up on Instagram or on Google. You'll find pictures on Google, I'm sure. So we did a premium American run that lasted for about, I don't know, 15 knives or 10 knives. Right now I think there's one up for sale on eBay for like $800. But it's a hard knife to produce, and so I'm actually working with Aerospace Engineering and Manufacturing Factory in California to start having some blanks done, and then probably getting finish work by Joshua Fightmaster at Triple J Knife Works here in Lexington. His fit and finish on stuff is incredible. He's a good worker. I'll be doing a video up there pretty soon. But the problem is that this project's going to take a lot of capital or a lot of support. So the Super Kook, though, to directly answer your question, is what I believe the epitome of a kookery should be. Yeah, I just answered that.
Okay.
All right, guys, so we're going to be done here for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Mariah, for being in the video with us. We gotta go get some food. I have a bunch of work still to do. I gotta weave a bunch more slings. But I appreciate you guys being here. If you haven't watched Operation Survival Season 2, Episode 1, please do so. It's about 9 minutes that I think will be well worth your time. And I hope that you have a blessed evening, guys.
Thank you for tuning in, guys. We appreciate all the support.
All right. Have a good evening.